There we go. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Vincenzo's Butcher Shop. We don't sell no soda pop, but if you're looking for some real good meat, this here is the place to stop, Jack. Welcome, everybody. And this particular video is going to go on YouTube because Penguin told me, she says, you need to take this and save it. So I had very little prep time to get into this position, but I don't know how good it sounds, and I don't know if I need to move the microphone. We'll discuss all that later. But for right now, I ended up with two camera angles. I'm using the laptop camera for the direct observation of my old, fat, ugly ass, and then I got the usual camera mounted up here so you guys can see the working surface. And hopefully it looks good enough that, when I go to Waken, that there's not a whole lot of question as to, what we're doing down here. I really don't want to move that camera. I can take it off of there and wiggle the camera around and let you guys look at different angles and shit, but I really don't want to move that location. So, anywho, everybody was with me last night. We fucked around, did some Call of Duty last night. Had a good time. Had a pretty good crowd, and then we dropped in on Pollo Del Mar and what they were doing with their wrestling stream. So just trying to get the community branched out a little bit. I spent some time yesterday watching a couple of the guys playing BeamNG. And they in turn came in and they watched Mini Vinny play some virtual reality. So that we're just trying to get the community of the mob out there for the whole world to see. For those of you who don't know, yes, first and foremost, I am a professional wrestler. Secondly, I am a butcher. I am a tried and true slaughterhouse butcher. So from walking the damn thing into the kill box all the way to your freezer, that is my speciality. So, every once in a while, when I'm not streaming some game that I suck at, I like to teach. And here's the reason why I do this is because, come on, everything's expensive. Everything's expensive. Whether it's beef, pork, chicken, doesn't matter. Everything under the sun right now is expensive. Every time a butcher takes a knife to a piece of meat, the price goes up. You're right, Mountain Man. Hey, baby, the price goes up. Every time that butcher touches that piece of meat, the price goes up. Okay? So, the absolute cheapest you can get that animal is still alive. Okay? That's the cheapest you can get it. When you need it to be food, that's where the butcher starts charging you by the pound for his time, for his supplies. Everything has a cost. Everybody's got a price. So the reason why I do this is so that I can teach you guys to go find a piece of meat, break it down yourself. It's as fresh and as real as you can get it. Now, keep in mind, I understand that this is IBP. All right, this is an IBP top sirloin butt. But, if I say but enough, Penguin will show up. If you go to a butcher, a slaughterhouse, and you ask them for primals, then it's not been fucked with. All right? It's someone's actual animal off somebody's farm that's not going to be full of fucking hormones and shit, right? It's going to be as natural as you can get it. So then you take that piece of meat back home and you work it up yourself, okay? But, again, not everybody has access to a slaughterhouse. So you got to go to your retail environment and you ask for the primal. And this is called a top sirloin butt. B-U-T-T. And because a butt was a unit of measure, a literal butt ton of shit, So whether it's a shoulder butt or a sirloin butt, it's a unit of measure. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this down into various cuts of meat. You got your top sirloin steak. You got your picanha, which we're going to make into, it's the cat meat. We're going to make that into Hoosier strip steaks. It's what I call it. It's what I was called at the place that I worked at that taught me how to get that particular cut out of there. It's a very unique cut of meat. Looks a lot like a New York strip steak. But yeah, we're gonna work this down, and we're gonna make. So I got my grinder over here, and I got my tenderizer over here. So when we break this down and we get to all the various parts out here, I'm gonna show you that there's nothing going to waste. All right. Whether it's the fat, it's the trim, you make broth with it. There's no waste going on here. We gotta save every penny because we're fucking poor. You don't get rich being a butcher. It doesn't happen. I had to quit the butchery trade just to make some money. The other day, I took one of these and I sold it to a guy. One of these whole pieces, right? I mean, we're not talking about the individual units. The whole thing. Sold it to him for $80. Okay. That's basically $5 a pound. And that's cost. I made nothing. I made nothing out of it. But it was my pleasure to break it down and serve it to him and his family, and they loved it. So I take great, great pleasure in taking art and making it food. So for those of you at home who've never, ever, ever in your life cut any meat yourself, First thing you're going to need is you're going to need some knives. You're going to need some big old, yeah, baby. This is a steak knife, okay? Steak knives are for the entire muscle structure. You got your smaller steak knives that are for smaller cuts of meat. And then you got your boning knife or your trim knife, okay? And that guy right there is just for working up the angles. This is my fillet knife. I use this bastard for everything because I'm crazy. But I'm going to put a little bit more of an edge on these guys because they've been washed. They've been rolling around in my miscellaneous pile down here since the last weekend. I'm going to put a little bit of an edge on it. Then we're going to start working this up. But I got 2 of these, so we're going to see this twice. And then we might get different things out of, different cuts. We're going to do stir fry. We're going to do stew meat. I'm going to show you where it all comes from. I'm going to miss that stogie. I'm going to miss it. So Mountain Man, is the sound good, buddy? Is the sound good over there? Because I don't know what you can hear or what you can see. Now listen, I don't have to have gloves. You don't have to have gloves. I'm putting them on just for the look. All right, I don't have to have gloves. You've seen me cut meat before, but I'm gonna break this down, and I don't want to get blood all over every frickin' thing. I got my mouse and my keypad over here on the cutting block. That's got to go. So we are going to start putting some work in. Mm-hmm. This is what you come to see, didn't you? We're not using this. They're not using that damn thing. That's just for looks. It wasn't for actual use, no. I'm going to put some work on these here. Just gonna, they've been hitting each other. They had water touch them. Water tends to break the metallic down, and it doesn't hold an edge. So you don't want to put them in the dishwasher. You want to wash them, dry them off, because rust is a thing. Oxidation is a thing. A little distant. Hold on. Whoop. Is that better? Does that help? A little bit there. Is that okay? I tightened it up a little bit. Does that work? I don't want to put the damn thing right on the block because it's going to be way too loud. But if you insist, I will put the damn thing right on the block. My Glenn Beck microphone over here, you know. I'll put the damn thing right on the block. I feel like it being right there might be a little too much. My steels, they've got two edges, okay? Alright, so you got this edge which has got teeth on it, and that knocks the burrs off. And then you got the smooth edge which straightens out the blade. And if I have too much trouble, I got my stone right there, so we'll just stone it up real quick. Alright. I got my scabbard. For those of you at home, the scabbard is where you put your tools so they're not laying on the block. Hey, Scottish! Hey, baby. Did you put your scabbard there, your tool your tools in your scabbard, and they're out of the way. Where did I put my box knife? There it is. You don't want to use your friggin' knives to open up plastic, okay? You want to use a box knife. Why? Well, you're going to dull your blade on plastic. You don't want to do that. Good to see you, baby. What's going on? I hope you got a good night's rest there, Scottish. We got some Fortnite to play later, don't we? we gotta try and get a third win. I didn't get my trash can. I'm fired. I didn't get my trash can. I'm just gonna yeet this outside. Yes, I used the word yeet again. I'm gonna hear it from friggin' Penguin or M, whoever the hell it was. Okay. So we've opened up the primal, and you got to look at this thing. So have a look-see, a real big look-see at all the different angles and all the different edges of this particular cut of meat. This is your face. This is the face structure. This particular end of the meat touches on the porterhouse, believe it or not. So there's a pin bone that runs down the center of this thing. As you get further and further down the short loin, so you're coming this way. As you get further and further down the short loin, you get this is actually New York strip. You know, it's where those muscles kind of come together, right here at the end, and then it moves on to a different muscle structure. But they touch, so when you break it, you're gonna get this pin bone down the center. You break that on the saw, bandsaw, obviously. It sits right at the top of the animal. So when you come down the back and you make that curve, of course you got the big fat round, which is the leg. But at the very top of the animal, right there by the ass, is where you get your sirloin from. Okay, it's literally running right down that direction. And it's one of the best cuts of meat. Don't ask me why. So that touches on this side. And then on the other end, there you go. Get this nice little round right here. Yeah, it starts down towards the round. So everything's connected. All right, so what we're going to do is let's do this my way. Let's do this my way. There's two sets of muscles here. All right. There's your sirloin, and then there's your cap. All right. So this cap only runs down to this point, just across here. You're gonna reach in and physically remove this muscle all the way through. Okay. I will show you doing this in reverse, that all you got to do is pull out a pot and you get this seam, this pocket, right? You're just going to follow that seam without cutting any red. You're going to cut straight through the fat. It's just a separate muscle altogether. So walk that thing straight down. You're going to come down here, and there's going to be a big triangle of fat. And you're not going to damage anything by cutting through that fat. Not a damn thing. That comes all the way off, just like that, dude. So then you get 2 separate cuts of meat. You can cut the thing with it on there. But here's my problem with you doing that. Alright? When you put that on there and you cut that face as it is, this muscle structure is running this way, and this muscle structure, and I hope you can see it, but this muscle structure is running this way. So if you cut it with this face, this is going to get short, and this is going to get long, and this is going to be tough. So when you take it off, and we're going to work it out, you can see that the striations run this way. So we're going to trim it up. We're going to turn it this way. We're going to cut it across the grain, and it makes some really, really, really good steaks, brother. So yeah, we're going to work this down and take this thing here and trim it down to nothing. I don't like leaving the gristle on the outside of this animal. All this shiny shit, it's all gristle, and it's just part of the animal, you know. But I like trimming it down and removing it from the steak. Now, I used to catch all kinds of hell from corporate. It's like, you're trimming too much. All that trim is money. Okay, you're going to sell it one damn time, and they're never going to come back because you sold them a steak that was so damn tough they couldn't eat it. And, you know, you got to make hamburger. Oh, no, we don't make hamburger in-house. We have to get that pre-made USDA certified exact measurement because some little old lady might get upset that she got too much fat one day or too much lean one day. It's not exactly 73-27. It's not exactly A20. You know, we can't afford to keep stopping and doing the testing to make sure it's exact. Listen, you're the one that's wasting the damn animal, not me. All right, you're the one that doesn't want to do the job the way it's supposed to be done. Butchery is not an exact science. Okay, it's a game of utilizing what comes in. And if you buy an animal like a milk cow that is fatty, you're gonna have some fatty frickin' hamburger. And if you buy an animal that is way too lean, you're gonna have some dry ass hamburger. But there's enough fat to go around for everybody. Okay? So what I do is I just trim up as much of this shit as I possibly can. And we're not gonna waste nothing. Alright? I'm gonna break down what I want to use. Your personal preference on how much fat that you put on your steak is totally up to you. If you want to peel this thing down to absolute red all the way across, that's completely up to you. I like to get the gristle off and leave a little bit. But I also enjoy peeling it down to next to nothing. It depends on what you're going to do with it. If you're going to break it down into cube steak and stir fry, you don't want any fat. We're going to get a little bit more of this gristle off of here. Yeah. So, an 1/8-inch trim is pretty much historically what we do. But, again, your preference, your meat. You're the one wicking it down. So we're going to take this down a little bit more. Any of this miscellaneous meat, I tend to just take off. Because what happens is you get these pockets of meat, just kind of these flaps that are just hanging. Like, sometimes I'll take this out. But I'm going to leave it today. Alright, so now I've peeled this thing down to where I want it for cutting steaks. And I'm going to put this aside let me get a tray for my trim. I'll put it aside, and then we're going to, we're going to break down the other one so I can cut all the steaks at once. I'll put my trim in here. Let's trim this one up while we got it out, okay? And this fat... Scottish, what are you talking about? You want me to start singing again? And now the end is near as I face my final curtain. We're not doing that today. We're not doing that today. We're cutting meat today. You can heal on me later. This is the picanha, okay? That's what they call it, picanha. And it's good. You treat it like a tri-tip, basically. You can roast it, you know. Again, this gristle's got to come off of here. It's just a line of gristle that is completely, utterly arbitrary. It's all edible. Once you run it through the damn grinder, it's all edible. So, when you're trimming, okay, for those of you at home who don't do this every day, when you got this gristle like this, okay, you get a knife cut started, and then you're not going to cut through it. You're not going to cut into the meat. You're literally going to walk that silver skin right up against the edge of your blade. So you get a hold of it like this, and you just ride, and that keeps you from cutting any red. You just ride that meat. Whoop, ride that meat right off of there. You're just going to ride it like this. But you have to have it tucked. You gotta have it tucked, just like that. Bada bing, bada bang, boom, done. You don't want to cut into the red meat. You want to ride that silver skin right off of there. If I get my damn hand in there, I'm gonna have to lose the gloves. I never liked to wear the gloves when I was cutting meat in the industry because I like to be able to feel. But when I got so much shit going on, I don't want to reach out and grab something and be covered in gore all the time, so. Alright, so there's that end. Alright, so we got this nice and trimmed up. All this shit goes in here. Okay, turn it over. Gonna knock this off just a second. How's the sound there, Scottish? Like skinning a fish, exactly. You're just going to fillet that skin right off of there. Not everybody's a fisherman. So, when I talk about feeling, all right, you can feel the difference between how deep this is, and how deep this is. So, it doesn't want to give. I mean, when you touch this, it's obviously muscle, right? But you touch this, it doesn't want to give. So, what you're trying to do is feel your way into how deep that fat pocket is. And you're just going to trim up a little bit off the outside. Little bit. Because you want to leave a little bit for flavor. Fat is flavor, especially when it comes to beef. You know, pork is fat all the way through. But with beef, fat is flavor. And it's a natural fat. It's good for you. It's going to rend it down. It's not going to kill you. And you don't want to eat it, that's fine, but leave it on the damn steak so that you can cut it off at the end, okay? All right. Let me get another pan for my primal right here, and we'll break the other one out. Oh, shit. Let go, damn it. Thank you. All right. Put that down and put this down. Let me get the other primal. Yeah. Okay. This one, exact same thing. Oh yeah, absolutely. You gotta have some fat on there. People will say, could you trim that fat off? Well, I can, but you're still going to pay for it.
Oh, well, I don't want to pay for it.
Or it's kind of like the bone, you know.
I don't want to pay for the bone because I can't eat it.
Well, like I've been telling everybody, the answer to a fake meat is to buy bone in, because they can't fake that. They can't fake God's handiwork. They can only fake the muscle structure. I doubt that they can petri dish raise bones. Okay. Put a little love on this knife. Okay. We're going to do this in the other direction this time. All right, we're gonna cut this in the other direction. I'm going to show you how to get it from the other end. The same muscle. And this is a little prettier. This was a little prettier than the other one. It's a nice, clean cut. You can actually see the porterhouse shape a little bit right there. You know, there's that corner, the triangle. I know you know what I'm talking about. Don't look at me like I'm crazy. There's that little triangle tip at the end of the steak. Boom, right there. Really pretty. Okay, we're going to do this side first, and we're going to work it the other way and show you how to get that off without removing the pocket like I did earlier. We're just going to trim it up. This side first. This edge, I'd like to take everything off, because most of what's in here is gristle. You get a hold of stuff like this, and that's why I tend to take this whole thing off of here. But I'm teaching you how to do this for maximum steak benefit, okay? Gonna feed your kids, gonna feed your family, gonna stock your freezer. This thing weighs about 14, 15 pounds. You can get them upwards to 17 and 20 if you find a real big animal. The Herefords tend to be great big damn animals. This is probably Black Angus. But, you know, they're all red on the inside, right? But the muscle structures are different. Okay. So we're going to come down here where I showed you where that triangle was. That triangle right here. So it's going in and it's coming out. All right? So without you guys having a left-handed camera today, you're just going to try it and whittle that triangle off just a little bit without cutting into that red. Okay, gonna walk it down that way. Now this thing will come right apart, right here. Boop. Comes right apart. Just peel that. Oh, I like that sound. Yeah. You want to watch horror games? I'm currently in the middle of showing you horror for real. This is one of God's creatures, and I'm breaking it down like it's a freaking Lego set. You just gotta take your knife. You're just using the tip of your knife. You just taking the tip of your knife and you're just walking that meat right off of there. That's all you gotta do. You ain't gotta stab it. You ain't gotta be mean to it. Let's break this one down, because we got the other side peeled. Then we're gonna break this down just a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't like this right here. This is gonna come off. This is going to come off. And I feel like I'm at home. That's what's terrible, man. I do miss the art form. I don't miss the damn stress. I don't miss the stupid humanoids. I just don't.
You get any of that grass-fed salmon?
Oh, yeah. I'll show you the field that they're raised in, too. Dumb fucking humans. Okay, so that one is peeled to my liking, and I'm okay with all this here. That's not gristle. That's just part of the process. There, and we're gonna break this picanha down. Oof. Scottish, are you hungry yet, dude? Slurp. Are you hungry yet, dude? We could do some cooking too. I could roll the frickin' Blackstone over here, and we could knock out a steak or two. I ate some bad stuff yesterday, so I'm trying to behave myself today. Every once in a while, I get a hankering for some bad stuff. Then I gotta starve myself for another week to get my belly to go back down. The heat's starting to come up outside. It was a pretty nice day. It's starting to get a little warm. Come on, damn it. I'm trying to cut the meat and show you guys at the same time. So yeah, you just want to get underneath that skin and walk it, right? So walk it. Getting under there sometimes is the hard part. He doesn't want to go. All right. And just trim it up. Fruit pancake? What the hell's a fruit pancake? Don't tell me. Penguin, don't tell me what a fruit pancake is. For the love of God. I'll never hear the end of it. Well, when two people love themselves very much. All right. Now, again, leave a little bit on here, but man, it's a little too much. You're just shaving it. You're just shaving it. It's all you're doing. There we go. All right. That's a little better. Boom. Okay. 3:45 p.m. and 61 degrees. Better than what I got, I think. All right. I'm going to whip out the baby blade. All right. So the picanha. We're going to do this one first. First. Now, like I said before, the striations run this way. It's very, very clear that they run in this direction, okay? You don't want to cut this way because you're making the muscle structure long, and you got to cut it down to get any kind of tender out of it. So if you just cut it right the first time, you ain't got to worry about it being tough. So you take this edge, and you're going to square it up, and I like to square it not with the way the muscle's running. I mean, not with the way the shape of the animal is, but with the way the muscle's running. So, if it's running this way, I'm going to physically alter the direction of the meat by cutting a proper face. However you cut that first face is how the rest of that steak's going to go. So, if you screw it up at the beginning, the rest of them are all going to be screwed up. So it's better to take a big chunk off at the beginning so all your steaks are nice. And then, like I said, there's no waste. You got stir-fry stew meat. It's going to be fine. Muggsy, what do you want? He's over there sniffing at the damn sunroom door. We'll take that off of there. Then we're going to start cutting some nice, thick... Boom! Look at that. Look at that, Dad. Nice, beautiful. Woo! Hi, Joey. And it looks like a strip steak. It looks just like a strip steak, but it's not. It's a damn sirloin. Hi, Joey. And I cut as many of these as I can get. Look at that. Beautiful strip steaks. And as they get narrower, I cut them wider, so you get some more meat out of your steak. Boom. And then again, nothing of this goes to waste. So you got these nice, beautiful cuts. Look at that. Look at that. Boop. Nice, beautiful cuts of meat. Bada bing, baby. Love it. All right, same thing here. Same thing here. So I'm going to show you one more time. The muscle structure's running this way. Okay? You can see it. But here's the tip. All right? So I'm going to square this up so that it's running towards the tip. Okay? Nice, big, fat. Oof. Look at that. Beautiful. This is where I would tell Marky to start taking screenshots and shit, because, man, it's a beautiful friggin' steaks. Look at that, baby. And it doesn't take a whole lot of practice, man. You do a couple of those, you're going to have it figured out. Boom. Gorgeous. So now, you want to pair up your small ones. Put my tool back in my damn scabbard. I'm at home. So I'm too comfortable. So, you want to pair up your steaks. I got 4 people in the house. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Well, not quite enough. So I'm going to get 2 packages out of this. A 5 and a 6. There we go. I'm going to put the little ones over here, the big ones over here. So there's more. Yep, just like that. Okay. Now, process is twofold for me these days. I'm going to put them in a Ziploc bag, and then I'm going to put them in freezer paper, because I don't trust the damn Ziploc bag. I just don't. I'm still working on getting some not wax paper, some deli paper. That's one thing I did not buy this last trip to Amazon. So I'm going to pack that in there just as tight as I can get it. You're going to push the air out. Okay? And I'm not going to bore you guys with wrapping it in paper. I will show you one time, because I need you guys to see how to do it. You have it all wrong. 2 packages, 5 and 5, and the 11th while you're cooking. You're not. Absolutely, Mountain Man. Absolutely. You are correct, sir. 100% correct. The problem is, I'm not hungry. I'm hopped up on caffeine and sugar to try and keep myself up for the stream, which might explain why I'm sweating. Okay. And unlike last time, I'm not running to the fridge every friggin' time. I don't know nothing about that. I got the cooler from Thanksgiving over there with some ice in it, so I don't have to keep running back and forth. All right, cocaine, yeah, man. If you want to donate, I'll give you my address, baby. If you want to donate, okay, that's breaking down the picanha. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. So is meth. Don't get methed up, ladies and gentlemen. Do not get methed up. Okay, I'm taking these off because I'm starting to sweat through my gloves. We're going to do some sirloin. Sirloin is next. We're going to do the big blade. Dad's got the big blade out. That's not good. Okay. We're going to get a primal. So, you put the meat down, you pick the meat back up, you've taken it apart, right? And now you're like, shit, I don't know where the face is. How do you know where the face is? Well, it's real easy. You see that stupid little circle right there? That's the opposite side of the face. Easy peasy. Well, what if that circle's not there, Dad? Okay, fine. The circle's not there. You have a curvature on this end and a point on this end. All right? It's very, very flat That's where that triangle was. And this you have the top curvature, right? Round. You can't miss it. So you know that that's the top and the bottom. The little circle is the end. This is your face. So now, I was telling you on the other one how to cut it properly. Where this is attached, there's gristle that goes deep in here. All right, it's deep. You got to get beyond that in order to have a good steak. If you cut it too short, you're gonna have a freaking tough ass piece of meat. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in here, and I always, this little circle, I always angle my cuts towards this circle, because that is the direction that the animal's muscle runs. I've done it my whole career. And the guy who just bought sirloin off of me said they were fantastic. So this is where I'm aiming at. Therefore, I'm going to change, instead of cutting it, because you know your brain goes, well, I guess gotta start cutting it like this. No. You want to change the angle completely. All right? So, you're going to go a great big, I'll show you, a great big angular wedge is going to come off of here. You're cutting this whole damn section off because it's no good. Cycle. I had Mini Vinny saying purple earlier. He was laughing his ass off. I'm like, man, you are wrong. So we're going to take that off of there, and I'm going to show you what a face of a sirloin looks like. So now I've gone past all this. We got all this. It goes all the way through to here. All right? That's what I'm talking about. It is not good to eat. So you're like, oh man, look at all the shit you wasted. Bullshit. There's no waste. I'll show you what we do with that shit. So, this end of it, look at that. Look at that big, beautiful sirloin steak, dude. Look at that. That is a full sirloin. We are going to cut some nice, big, fat steaks off of this guy. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, look at that. Boom. Look at that. Beautiful cut of meat. Gorgeous, Daddy. Now, if you don't eat a whole steak like I do, let's assume for just a moment that all you want is, you got two people at home, you and the old lady. Just cut the thing in half. Not complicated. You gotta make thin steaks. Just get your full face steak, cook it to the way you like it, cut the damn thing in half. People want to go to the store and they want to buy those little petite sirloins. Quit being a lazy shit. Take the whole damn steak home, you cut it in half, you put half in the freezer, you cook this half. Why are we paying more for another knife cut? Stop it. Stop it. Okay. So we're going to do a couple of these. Oof. I'm going to turn it around so you guys can see the other half of the process. I like cutting left to right. That's the way I was raised. I don't like cutting right to left. It doesn't allow me to grip the way I want it to. My phone just made something. The Discord just did something. Was that you, Scottish? Look at that. Boom. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to show you some butcher tricks here in just a second about how to fix the angles and how to fix... Okay, so as you're working, this was up in the air. This was up in the air when you started, and as you cut the meat, it slowly starts to hit the table. You have to start changing the angle of your knife. You can't hold this thing up all the time, so you got to start coming in and working it. See, this is vertical. This is where it's ended up at. So you got to turn and work at an angle in order to get a flat cut of meat. Because if you don't, you're going to have wedges, and nobody likes that. Not me, not you, nobody. And then now we got this last cut of meat. You got two choices. You could either do what I do, which is just shave a little bit off the ass to make it flat. Looky there. Boom. Now you got another steak. Or you can just take the whole thing, run it through the tenderizer, make you some cube steak. You can break this down into stew meat or kebab meat, you know, great big pieces of kebab meat. Or you can take, and obviously the muscle structure running this way, you take and you make yourself some stir fry. Boom, boom, boom. Not complicated. So these pointy angles like this, you're just going to knock off the tips. Knocked off the tips. Hey, Scottish, you watching? I know there's a delay. Are you watching, Scottish? Tell me you're watching, baby. Because this is for you. I am a sick puppy. I am a sick, sick individual. So yeah, nice cuts of meat. Now all this stuff here is fine. Perfectly fine. Leave it alone. Don't trim it down. Don't pull on it. Leave it alone. Because it will cook up. It'll be fine. If it falls off while you're grilling, guess what? You put it in your mouth, you eat it. Alright, so there's that. Big, beautiful steaks. Put them over here. We'll wrap it in a second. Thank you, Scottish. God bless you, dude. God bless you. I have the best team and the best team in the world. I ain't got a Tory. I got everybody else. And that's the way I like to run my operation. The mafia is a family, right? You're part of something, you're part of something, you're part of something. Pick up a piece of the puzzle and make it work. I love it. All right. Same thing here. All right, here's that nice little cycle. This is the other thing. We happen to get two pieces of meat that were identical. It came off the same side. You're going to have two different cuts on one off each side, and they're, symmetrical. So the other cut of meat is exactly identical to this, but the cycle's on the other side. The process is the same. Not all of these are identical. So you just got to get used to cutting or flipping it over. You can cut it from top to bottom. It just happens to be the way I like to roll. You can cut it from this way, that way. It doesn't matter. Just remember, you got to cut towards the cycle. Okay? So I'm going to squeeze this gristle. Again, here's the gristle. Look how much freaking gross. So we're going to come in here. And this point at the very end down here is basically what I aim towards to square that up. All right? So we're going to go down here. Oh, yeah. Ooh. And cut that right off. Woo. Man, getting gory over here. Let me wipe my hands real quick. Ow. And get me something to drink. I'm thirsty today. All right, back to work. We're going to do the same thing we did over there. We're going to cut great big, and you can cut them as thick or as thin as you want, but I'm warning you, you don't really want to go too much more less than an inch, because they're going to dry out, they're going to cook too fast. Topher! Welcome to the party, pal! Woo! Man, I got the whole team in here today. I love it. So, Topher, God bless you. Thanks for hanging out, baby. Here's your top sirloin steak. Hand cut. Can't get any better than this. And we're going to break this down a little more. I like a big fat. Every once in a while. No, thank you. That's fine. Hey, but since you're sitting there, Topher, and I don't think you saw me a minute ago, I got something I want to show you. We're going to cut a nice big, oh, look at that sirloin. Boom. Look at that, baby. That's just gorgeous. I'm going to show you something. Here you go. Just for you, Topher. Just for you, Daddy. Oh, thanking me. Okay, fine. Thank you, Topher. Okay. So, yeah. Steak off the table. Been doing it for 1,000 years. I love it. Okay. So here we go. You want to hold your knife straight. I catch a lot of flack because someone said, you can't put your finger on the back of the knife. Listen, I've been cutting meat for a long time. I do what the hell I want. The reason why is because it's that extra oomph, little extra pressure on the back of the blade. They can bite my ass. It helps me guide that knife straight. If I'm holding it like this, there's too much wrist work. If I put my finger up here, it forces my wrist to be straight. I made Discord, yes. Yes, you did. Topher joined the Discord. I'm so glad he did. Appreciate you, Bubby. And then we're going to take out a little bit off the end and make a nice little steak right there. Then we're going to work this up next. One thing at a time. But man, look how nice and thick. Nice and thick. And even. And gorgeous. Oh, just kidding. All right. This shit here, don't worry about it. That's what I was telling you earlier with the whole muscle. I like to pull that out of there, you know. And what you end up with is a piece of meat looks like that. You know, it's not much that it adds to. It makes the face a little heavier, you know. Woo! Man, those are pretty. Man, those are pretty. All right. So, we'll pack them up and put them away. Let me do this now with you guys. Let me have the other fucking blade. Okay. So, we're going to work this down. All you're going to do is take your good little trim knife. And you're going to peel all this stuff off, okay? Going to peel the fat off. And you see that I'm using this hand to move the meat, okay? It's more than just picking it up, putting it down, or holding it in place. You're working the meat. You're working the meat so that it moves the way you want it to. You pull on it sometimes, you push on it sometimes. And you're just trying to get it separated. You're using the edge of your blade to find the surface that you want to cut on. And I know where the angles are, thank God. And you're just going to work that shit out of there, okay? This is trim. Boop. Anything that you don't want to eat, you're going to grind it. Like, I don't want to eat any of that. It's not worth fucking with. But you're going to peel all this gristle out. Because it's hiding good meat on the inside. But you got to know how to get to it. And the only way you're going to learn is getting in there and practicing. You get that in those knife skills, and it just gets easier and easier as you do it, okay? So we're going to get that over there. This one, there's the yeah, we got some fat buildup on the block. There's the fillet knife trick, okay? Like you're skinning a fish, you're going to come down here at the bottom, and you're just going to work underneath. Instead of peeling the meat, trying to peel the fat off, you're going to peel the meat off the fat. And it gets to be easier the more you play with it. And you're just going to do that all the way down. Because you don't want that gristle in your stew meat. You don't want that gristle in your stir fry. There. Take that off of there like that. I got too many lights in here. It's friggin' hot. I may have to go get a fan. I wish I had fans. Wish I had fans as good as you. Bada bing. All right, come down here, and we're just going to whittle. We're going to whittle this off. Walk that blade. And as you can see, there's different blades for different things. This one tends to flex, okay? You want it for different processes. This one right here is a little more sturdy. It's for working around bones. But when you want a knife that's going to get into the cracks and crevices and the creases, you want something that's going to flex a little bit. Because it's going to learn, you're going to learn how to push on the blade in order to get it to do what you want. You want it to flex around. You don't want it to be rigid. Okay. Almost there. That's good. That's good. We're almost there. This last little piece here, and then we're going to put all this up because it's getting hot in this motherfucker. Woo! I love it. You know, I'd love to be more professional and be a little less vulgar, but man, I'm a mobster. All right? I am a mobster. I am designed to be crass, crude, vicious, human. If I wanted to watch one of those namby-pamby sissy shows on TV where the guys, I haven't watched a damn cooking show since I was little. But, Emeril Lagasse BS, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be that soft. I'm more of a Justin Wilson, but drunk and belligerent Justin Wilson. We are at an ad break. Good timing. We're almost done here. Good timing. Yeah, we're going to grind that. Just on that. Okay. I'll wait for the ad to be done, and then we're going to work this up into various cuts of meat. Okay? Meanwhile, while I'm waiting on the ad to stop, I'm going to go ahead and pack these sirloins up. Get covered in blood. Topher likes it. Woo! Alright. So once again, get you a big fat steak at the bottom of this thing. The little girl's not going to eat a whole lot of steak. She's just not, So you got me, you got her, you got Mini Vinny, you got Sissy, right? So we're going to put our steaks in there, get it nice and flat. Oh, Scottish. Exactly, Scottish. That's why I never understood when it was like, you can't talk like that in public. Bullshit. Have you seen people? You can talk any way you want. It's flavor, word enhancers, baby. Sentence enhancers. So there's that little one there, and that little one here. I like my sentence enhancers. Little flavor, little spice of life. I'll put these down in the freezer. Look at that, man. You're gonna feed a family of 4 easy, right? Easy. I used to be so fat, and I keep telling you guys I was over 300 pounds. I was so fat that I could eat 2 of these sirloins, no problem. I could eat 2 sirloins and not even think about it. And man, I put that shit away. I know better now. Now when I do it, I still do it, but I do it very, very rarely these days. Nice and flat. Push all the air out. And I'm going to wrap it in paper later. I'm not going to dig with that on the stream. This one's gonna have 2 big steaks, and we're gonna do that one all by itself. Yes. Oh, Billy Connolly's he's a saint. That man needs to have a sainthood. Billy Connolly, absolutely. I was a huge fan of his work before the Boondock Saints. I was a huge fan of his work before that. After that, I was like, nope. Whatever that guy wants, I'm doing. Absolutely. All right, let me drop these in the fridge. Hotcha. Oh. Another thing is, if you're going to freeze your steaks, you don't want to freeze them in a stack, because what they're going to do is they're going to mash the blood out. You don't want to do that. You want to try and freeze them flat on a surface as best you can. Even if you have to freeze one and put some in the fridge until it's ready, but it's going to bleed out. So you don't want to leave them surface. You don't want to. You don't want to leave them in the freezer like that. And yes, they're going to freeze solid, but they're also going to squish the blood out. So you don't want them to be on that like that for too long. All right, I'm gonna put this in the freezer or in the cooler just so it stays cold. And we're gonna get out the ribeye. Give me that damn thing. Okay. Give me that damn thing. All right, so back to this. One such butcher's trick that I like to share is putting a cloth underneath your cutting board, and that keeps your cutting board from sliding while you're working. I mean, it's still going to slide a little bit, but it's not going to kill you. Okay. Now, the little pieces here. Big piece, big piece, big piece. Yeah, little pieces over here is what we're going to do. This one's already thin. You're just going to make these real thin, straight cuts. And just for your stir fry. Now, some people would like the big wide cuts. They like these like just little slivers of steak. That's how they want their stir fry to look. I understand this, but if you're not careful, it can get a little tough. Especially if you grab a piece of meat and you cut it wrong. So the smaller you make it, the easier it is to chew. The other thing is there's stroganoff. Okay? Stroganoff is brick-shaped. It's literally shaped like a column. So you take a cut that's like this. Let me go a little half of that. Let's go half of that. Set that vertical. Go half of that. Okay. I'm going to square this up, and we're going to go this way with it. And you're trying to get these exact measurement columns. All right. I don't know if you can see. It's square, right? It looks like a column. So that's your stroganoff cut. Nice, wide, meaty pieces. That's what you use. I mean, you can use meatballs. You can use stir fry. You can, whatever you want, whatever you yourself want to use. But traditionally, it's very column shaped. And I've had little old ladies that absolutely love me because I understand when they say they want a stroganoff. So completely and utterly used by or learned by practice. So yeah, I'm just going to put it in my stir fry. The same thing is you're just going to make real thin cuts. Woo! Now with the hammer, you can take and you can make your cube steak. It takes a lot longer to pound it out. We're not going to do that on the stream. Over here, I got my tenderizer. I'm not hooking that thing up just for a couple cuts. You know, if I was doing a whole round where I'm going to have a pile of cube steak, I'd work that thing up, no problem. The tenderizer, let me show you the teeth on this thing. The tenderizer that I've got, look at that. This is the industrial variety. So what happens is it goes between two blades just like this, and it beats that meat down into a pulp. It's not grinding it, but it's cutting it deeply. And you've got to work it several different directions in order to get a good cube steak out of it. We'll work on cube steak on another stream. This one in particular, we're just going to do some stir fry, some stew meat. So the thinner cuts, you're just going to do real quick. And then you season it up however you want. But it cooks real fast this way. And hopefully be nice and tender. Some of these look like they're going to be a little bit gristly. But again, we're not wasting anything. You can grind it if you want to. Because once it goes through the grinder, it all works down into nothing, dude. See Billy in concert twice when he had long-haired, bearded hippie. Nice. Yeah, I like Billy Conley, man. Very funny dude. What I thought was funny was Boondock Saints, the guy who played the barkeep. He was in Fraggle Rock. I thought that was really, really interesting. And one more, and then we'll back that up, because it is getting hot in this mother. Woo! Yeah, it's a little bit of gristly there, but man, like I said, we're not wasting nothing. I'll take this, stick it in the grinds. Oh. Oh, knock it off. I'm going to go do some stew meat, and we'll do some. The only difference between stew meat and kebab meat is the size. You want bigger pieces of meat, but you can't just use any old piece of meat for kebab meat. It has to be something lean and something tender. You got to use sirloin. You can't use strip steak for friggin' kebab meat. You can't damn do it. Strip steak is too fucking lean. So cube steak, god damn it, I got cube steak on my brain. Stew meat is simply cubes. And you try to get them to be as equal into a square as you can get as far as the, for viewing in a package at the grocery store. Knock off the tips. Get you a nice even cut down the center. And then just knock you into some stew meat. I've been doing this for 100,000 years, man. I feel like I'm at home. This is what I should be doing every day. I've been doing it so long. It's second nature. I don't have to think about it anymore. You saw I made 4 different cuts right there. I can take a whole round steak, just do this number across the steak, and then boom, 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 and make a whole pile of stew beef in minutes. Seconds, really. Let's say you want to make more stir fry. So you come down here, or you want to make a wider cube steak. You butterfly it open, now you got a huge face. Look at that, huge face. In order to make a proper distance, proper width to your steak, so it's even, you just butterfly it. Man, look at that. Brontosaurus. Man, don't tempt me. I'll do it. Boom. So then what you do is you do this number. I'm playing with my meat. You do that number, it mixes it all up so that no one gets screwed. Everybody's got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know, depending on how many pieces of meat you were working with, all these end pieces, you mix it up. You know, nobody gets a straight handful of sirloin or a straight handful of round. It's all in a mixed. Okay. Yes, I'm playing with my meat live on Twitch. At some point, they're going to come in and they're going to go, you really shouldn't be playing with your meat. I'm like, well, if I don't do it, nobody will. Okay, there we go. In the fridge. Bada bing. Okay. Now, scrape the block. All this fat buildup. Boom. Look at that. That was all that was on that block, and it causes your meat to move around when you're trying to cut it. You always want to scrape your block. Make sure that there's not crap just hanging off your freaking steaks. Alright, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? It's ribeye time, Jack. Ribeye, ribeye, ribeye. My favorite cut of meat. Nah, that's not true. My favorite cut of meat actually is a chuck eye. We'll do a chuck for a stream, because you guys got to see that. That's a huge investment, but at the same time, you get more out of a chuck than you actually think. It's a lot of it. Sam! Hey, baby! Good to see you. Welcome back. It was great having you last night, and it's even better having you here with me today. We are currently playing with Vinny's meat. As you can see, the seal is broken on this package, right? This one is the vacuum is 100%. It got moved around so much that the seal broke. So I'm going to show you what happens as it starts to deteriorate. Because once the seal's broken, you know, you got a limited amount of shelf time. And I knew it was popped about 2 days ago, maybe 3. And, oh, that wonderful aroma. It's starting to age. And that's fine. It's going in the freezer. I'm going to bring this over here and put it where I can get to it. Now, Wild Boar Barbecue. Brother, you have got to share that story with me. I've had quite a few different animals in my existence, but wild boar, a little bit gamey, but, you know, if it's barbecue, they've got it covered up pretty good. But, man, that's better than that store-bought shit by a long, long way. Look at this. There's no fat cap on this. Look at how peeled that is. This is an export rib. All right? Bone-in export ribeye. That is what we call this. So I purposefully buy them bone-in. I like the flavor that the ribs give the steak. That's my personal preference. You want to buy boneless because I can't eat that bone. I don't care that you can't eat the bone. That's not important. The important part is that's where some of the flavor's at. I've been at this forever. There's a distinct difference in the taste. So, with bone-in rib, there's a prime rib cut out of this. And it always comes from, hold on, wait for it. Is it that one? Is it that? No, it's this one. This is the prime rib end, all right? This is the end that's closest to the chuck. The chuck eye steaks are about that much further up the road from a ribeye. And let me tell you something. It's the same muscle structure. It has the exact same look to it. It's just a different muscle. It's attached to the chuck. We used to call those pot roasts back when I was a kid. There's another word they got for them now. They only sell chuck roasts these days. They don't break it down into the different, you know, whether it's a pot roast, a chuck roast. They don't break it down anymore. It's just all chuck roast. So the very marbled end is generally the pot roast. That's the part that you want to put in your stew because, again, the marble, the fat, the flavor, right? So when I ask for a prime rib, always ask off the little end. Let me run that back one more time. When Christmas time comes around and you want yourself a prime rib, you say, I would like X amount of bones because it's basically 2 bones or 2 people per bone. All right, so if you're feeding a family of 4, you want a 2-bone rib roast from the little end. All right, and that's going to be the prime end. If you get it off the big end, this is the end that is attached to the New York strip. So this is the halfway point in the animal. When it's hanging from the meat hook, and you got the round up there hooked into the Achilles, you got the round at the top, and you come down this way to the front, the arm roast, the shoulder, the chuck, and it comes up the back. Okay, this is the halfway point. You will count up 7 ribs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're gonna make a cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to make a cut, and it's going to break right there. So you're going to take it off, going to finish that cut. It's going to fall onto the table. And you're going to work that front quarter up, and this is on the front quarter. Okay? So when you go to the slaughterhouse and you want ribeye and you don't want porterhouse, always ask for a front quarter. The filet mignon is in the back quarter. Everything else is basically sirloin round and sirloin round and strip, short loin. You know, that's where the fillet's at. But this is, in my opinion, much more important than filet. So you didn't cook it. You came home from Buffalo. My brother was barbecuing, made some wild sausages and pork chops. He bought it from the butcher. Wild boar in the city. Interesting. Man, I'm glad it was good. Okay, so here we go. Bone in. There is a membrane, just like on your baby back ribs in the grocery store. There's a membrane that is on this particular cut. When I take this and grill it, I will score the muscles, score the bones. You just take your knife and you go down the bones, not between the bones. All right, I'll show you take it off. But you go right down the bones, and then when you cook it, you don't move it until that the bones start to peel off the meat. If you don't remove that membrane, it's never going to work. So I like to get in here, and you just kind of fidget with it till you get a quarter worked up. It works the same on the pork baby back ribs. You're just going to fidget with it till you get something you can get a hold of. And I take a towel so you can get a grip. You hear that rip? Grip it and rip it. And that membrane comes right off, Dad. Right off of there. Boom. One whole piece. That is good for nothing. It's less than... It's not as bad as BMD, but it's pretty useless. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to trim this fat off of here a little bit. And you got the back, the spine, right? The spinal column sits right up against this. And they've cut that off for you. It's not as deep on this one. So now, you can I'm going to cut that one whole. This one I'm going to take, because this one's got some fat on it, I'm going to leave that one whole. This one I'm going to take the bones off of and show you how to do that. When you're doing prime rib, you don't want to take the bones completely off, okay? When you're doing prime rib, you're going to take it down just to the joint where the meat is still attached right here. and then it's gonna flap. All right, I'm gonna show you. But you're gonna tie it back on, which I'm also gonna show you. Ugh. Oh man, it's like being at home. God, sometimes I miss it. Sometimes I do. So this thing doesn't have any fat to hold it stable, so it's very, very, very loose. You're gonna take your knife and you're just gonna hold it up against the bones. All right, you're whittling against the bones, and you're coming from the very tail down. You don't want to work up the other way. It doesn't work that way. And you don't want to stab too deep, because every time you do, because the bones are curved, right? Your knife is straight. You do not want to stab down, because the angle of the curvature, you're going to get into that meat. You want to keep walking it little bit by little bit against the edge of the bones, right? This particular cut, oh my God, this particular cut is very, very tender. This meat is so tender. Generally, it's much fattier and therefore stiffer, but this is a really lean cut. And we're just walking this down, guys. We're walking it down. You don't want great big knife cuts. You just want to barely work it, because all that meat is going to come out of there. You don't want it attached to the bone. That steak's not going to be any good to you when it's on that back rib. You just want to walk it down. So you could get closer and closer to these joints, and there's going to be a little part that sticks up. You start hitting that, you can stop. Okay? All right, cool. When you're doing it, and they got the full chine bones, what they call it, on this side, you're going to hit right up against those things. But I basically ran right into these. And it folds open like this. So now you got your prime rib looking thing, okay? That's where you want to go when you go to make prime rib. You just go to that deep and you stop. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tie it. And we're going to talk about the butcher's knot. I talked about this before in my pork stream, but for those of you at home who didn't watch that, because it's probably off of Twitch by now, we're going to go over it again. Okay? You take your string, you're going to go underneath, you're going to catch this, the full end, the rest of the string in this hand, your end piece in this hand, okay? You're going to go between the bones. You're going to wrap the string, the loose end, around, okay, hold on. You're putting this in the palm of your hand, okay? You're going to wrap this string around your fingers. And then you've gone all the way around one time. You're just going to turn your fingers out and over, and you're going to pinch right there and catch that string, and you're going to pull it through. And that gives you a sliding slip knot, okay? That gets you up here. And then you're going to twist it so it doesn't back out, and you're going to tie it off so it can't back out, all right? Now, let's assume that I'm going to do this whole thing as a roast. But I don't want to have to cut and tie and cut and tie and cut and tie. So what you got to do is you got to go all the way around. You're going to go over top your wrist. You're going to grab this end of it, and you're going to walk that string all the way down. So now you've got a loop. You've got a loop, and you're going to walk it to the next bone. And you're going to space it out how you want it. And you're going to tighten this down. And that tightens this up, that tightens that up. And you don't have to keep cutting and retying and reknotting every single time. You go over top your wrists, you grab the piece of meat, get your loop, and walk it down to the next bone, and so on and so forth, until you do the entire thing. Okay? All the way down. That was a skill that I had to learn the hard way because my mentor didn't teach me. I had to learn it the hard way. One more time. All right. I'm not going to do them all because I want to show you the last part. The last part's very important. So we're going to go all the way down. We're going to skip a loop. We're going to come down here. Now, we're going to go all the way around. You take your string, you go all the way underneath. Cut you off some. Get it nice and tight. Go up underneath your knot. Okay? Couple times to get some good tension. Because God knows I love tension, right? And then you make yourself a nice little pretty little bow. And then there you go, baby. One whole piece ready to be cooked and served right on the table, Dad. So, yep, there you go. Butcher's knot. Continuous tie. And then when you get it cooked, you just go through and you cut the strings. You pull the strings off. You cut, and then you serve it right at the table. One whole piece. All right. Get this trash off my friggin' table. All right. Okay. I hope you're as enthralled as I am, because man, I love these things. I love these little intricate dances with the meat. All right, we're going to finish up taking these back ribs off, because we got to get to cutting some steaks. Once you get down to where the hinge is real loose, you go underneath the joints. Boom. 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 And essentially all you're doing is you're cutting around the knuckles, the spinal column. This one's gonna get a jagged piece. Come on, you bastard. There. Now you got your back ribs. Look at that. Boom. Beautiful. You can roll them up. Make a crown roast out of it, you know. Stuff that thing. Hey, Penguin! Good to see you. Man, it smells fresh. Okay. I'm glad you chose to join me. We are having a blast. I am thirsty today, I can tell you that. Woo! Okay. Where's my steel? There we go, baby. All right, now, there's no fat on this thing, so we don't have to do any trimming. Thank you. I love you guys. I have the best team ever. Ever. Big blade, little blade. Let's use the little blade. Okay. So, once again, this is the strip end. This is the chuck eye end. You want to take a face cut, which is basically squaring it up. Okay. When it comes to altering the angle of the meat, this is it. You asked for it, you got it. I bet you that was loud in that thing. I apologize. Okay, so essentially you're just going to square it up because there's no real change in the angle of this one. This one is what it is. Okay, so we're going to take that, put that down right there. Okay, very loud. All right, and we're going to start cutting some ribeyes. And I like my ribeyes to be nice and healthy. This is a very tender piece of meat, guys. It is not normal at all. It's very lean. Woo! You see that? See that meat right there? That's good shit. Okay, so There is very little marbling to this. Very little marbling. It's almost entirely muscle. I mean, on one hand, that's a good thing. On the other hand, it's not good for flavor. Oh, what's the matter, Penguin? You don't like a little raw steak tartare over here, huh? I do. I love steak tartare. Ooh. Look at that. Not a whole lot of marbling to it, guys. Oh, there we go. There we go. Not a whole lot of marbling to it. It's simply very, very... I mean, you see how it's falling apart. It's very, very tender. And I like a good 1-inch steak. Personally, I'll take a 2-inch cut. The other day, I had a 2-inch... About a 2-inch cut. Eat it off cam then. So yeah, we're going to go and we're going to cut these up. And get straight boneless ribeyes. Now these things are super expensive in the grocery store. I mean, they're very, very expensive. Thanks, Penguin. Man, I've been waiting to get healed on for hours. But if you buy a whole primal, and you can, even better if you can buy a whole box. And I realize it's a large investment, but if you buy a primal, the whole thing, it should be a lot cheaper than if you bought individual steaks or even a roast. They should have a discount for, they didn't have to put any work in. They didn't put any work in. All you got to do is hand you the primal, which is why I say go to the slaughterhouse, go to an actual butcher and tell them, hey, I want to buy a whole primal of X, Y, or Z because I know how to break it down. And keeping your knife straight is what keeps the steak straight, which again is why I use my finger. Oh, I love these things. I have beaten my blade up. Look at that. Oof. Beautiful. Now, you're down to this last piece here, and we're just going to take off a little bit off of the end. A little bit right there. And again, this can be used for stir-fry stew beef. And there you go, baby. You got some nice, beautiful, beautiful steaks. Nice and tasty. Smells so fresh. Let me get these packed up, because again, it's hot in here. And then we're going to go into this one, and we're going to cut some bone in. And I'm going to show you the difference between bone in and boneless. And it's going to be every other one's going to be bone in, because we'll get there. I don't have a bandsaw, so you cannot cut a bone in product and get thin cuts of meat. It doesn't work that way. So I'm going to park these things in the cooler real quick. Let me go to the other end. Whoop. There we go. Whoa. So Mom gets one, Dad gets one, Sissy gets one, Bubby gets one. Gorgeous. Let's go this one. Let's do this one. Gorgeous cuts of meat, baby. There you go, Scottish. Take some screenshots, dude. Take some screenshots. Pretty cuts of meat. Good man. Good man. Now my favorite steak seasoning, I mean obviously Montreal steak seasoning is really good. My favorite steak seasoning is the truffle. They got several different brands that do a truffle seasoning. That is my personal preference when it comes to steaks. After I found that, I couldn't go back. I mean, I will have a steak with something else on it. There's 2, 4, 6. Let's do this one. Oh. Don't drop your meat, Vin. Don't drop your meat. But yeah, the truffle seasoning, boy, woof. Weber had one. I don't know if they sold it. I think Kinder's has got one, and that's just my personal preference. But Weber had a smoky truffle seasoning, and it was fantastic, dude. Blowing meat. He's blowing your Discord up with him. Good job. Good job, baby. BMD, I gave him my number, and I said, when you're doing meats, give me a call. We'll talk about processing. We'll talk about cooking it up. We'll talk about the angle you gotta cut it. Has he called me? No, not one time. I don't care. I love the guy. He's good people. Yeah. We got one more. One more time. One more time. Yep. This is a blast. All right, here we go. This one's got a little bit more fat on it. And again, do not use your knives to open up plastic. Get you a nice little box knife, some kind of blade that you don't care about, and work that thing open. Don't dull your knives up any more than you have to. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm in love. There's a lot more marbling on this one. A lot more marbling. And yeah, ooh, look at that. So you see it's a little stiffer than the other one was. This one's not nearly as flexible. So here's your chuck end. And you get this bone dust, is what this is. It's bone dust. Not the same bone dust, Penguin. Not the same thing. But yeah, when they cut it on the bandsaw, they need to scrape that off of there because nobody wants to eat that. Nobody wants to eat that. That's ridiculous. So you scrape it off of there before you serve it to your customers. Period. If you buy one where there's we call it chine bone. It's basically, if you've ever seen a skeleton, there's these long straight pieces in the spine, and it basically runs against here, right? And that meat will sit flat up against it, and you have to pull that off of there the same way you did the rib, only in the opposite direction. And then up here on top, where there should be a cap, a fat cap, there's a piece that looks like a rubber band. It is a yellow sinew that sits on top of here. And if you ever see any of that on your steaks, cut that right out. Right out. It is not good bit for business at all. So we are not going to trim anything off of this side. There's a little bit of fat right here, but I'm going to show you about the tails, straightening the tails out. But yeah, this is a much, much more beautiful piece of meat than the last one. And if you remember, like I told you, there's two sides of the animal. They're symmetrical. So that was one side. This is the other because this is the little end was over here a minute ago. So I'm going to walk this little piece of frickin' there we go. Just walk that off of there and peel that off. And it works the same way, like I said before, it works the same way as your pork back ribs. You're just going to peel that off using a towel. Okay? Because that gives you some extra grip. And I'm going to take this off of here because it's just useless. This is a little bit of diaphragm. That's all right. Okay. Now, bone in is a little bit of a different process when you don't have a bandsaw. You're going to start at this end because you got to work between the bones. And when they cut it and they hang it, it changes the direction of the muscles. There's a reason why we hang beef the way we do, and if we hung the beef in a different position, then the muscles would solid up into a different position. You have a different shaped muscle, believe it or not. So the stretching the animal out by hanging it vertical is how we get the maximum cuts off of our meat. So we're going to come down here, and I like to take these knuckles out. When I cut mine on the damn bandsaw, these knuckles don't exist. Because when you're doing it by hand, cutting your steaks without the bandsaw, it gets to be a pain in the ass, because it's gonna alter where your cut is at. So you get that damn. This might take me a second. You're just gonna take that little bit out of there. I got my straight edge, my hard edge blade to whittle. And it's just a piece of bone. It's just a knuckle bone. And they're in between. This is the actual rib. All these other things are knuckle bones. They're just in the damn way. So I learned this basically because you get the meat shop cleaned up, and then some yahoo would want a bone-in ribeye cut after you've got everything clean, and they're like, "But I want a bone-in ribeye." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll go get you one. It's going to take me a minute, but by God, I'll get you one." So I learned how to do it without a bandsaw in order to prevent me from having to clean the whole damn shop all over again over one damn steak. Come on. Piece of shit. Come out of there, you. You don't want to jab too much into your steak, guys. You just don't. Don't cut towards yourself. I have stabbed myself so many damn times. I was doing a round and I got my blade caught in the hip bone. There's a hole. And I got my knife caught in it, and I stuck myself right in the frickin' ribs. It was great. It was a good thing I was fat back then. Didn't hurt me. But yeah, you can't cut steaks. You cannot cut steaks by hand without these damn things coming out. The animal didn't believe that. What did I say? I didn't look up fast enough. I'm fired. Anyway, let me get this damn thing out of here. That one's probably going to be a bigger problem than all the other ones. Let go. Thank you. Whoop! Stabby, stabby. Whoop, 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 whoop. We're just getting to that point, guys. We're getting to that point. Okay. Where are we at? Oh, right. Right. Man, I was that big. But anyhow. You can't take a cleaver to this thing. This is not a cleaver situation. This is you have to do surgery, one little nugget of gristle at a time. You take a cleaver to lamb. You can take a cleaver to pork. You cannot take a cleaver to beef like this, unless you're doing short loin. You're doing. Come on, you. You're doing. Bone-in short loin, and you need to get that cut up. In order to break it, you have to have a cleaver, because the T at the top. See, I almost stabbed myself. The T at the top will not move unless you take a cleaver to it. So you can cut the whole damn steak as flat as a pancake, and then you have to get the meat separated until they cleave it down the middle and break the spine. Otherwise, you're not doing it without a bandsaw. Hold on, we're getting there. We're almost there. Yeah. Woohoo! Okay. Now we got those knuckles out. Essentially, you're going to go between the ribs. And you're not going to cut precisely down the rib, okay? You're going to cut along the edge. You're just going to go in a little bit, and you're going to go straight down. So I'm going to square this up, make it a little flatter. You're going to go in here. You're going to push up against that bone, and you're going to go straight down. Bone in, ribeye. Look at that, Dad. Boom. Now the next one, you're aiming for right here. Okay. So this is where your bone is at. You see that? You're gonna go straight up that line, but you're not gonna follow the rib. You're making a straight cut. So you're gonna hit that with the edge of your blade from way up here. And you see I'm pulling on the steak to get it to go straight, so that when I cut it, oof, I'm out of practice. There you go. Beautiful. Hand cut. Gorgeous. I'm going to come in a little bit, and we're going to cut straight down. Oof. Man. I was good once. Once upon a time, I was good. That's the bone. There we go. Look at that, Dad. Look at that. Whew. So you got boneless and bone in. So every other one is bone in, obviously. Because you're going that way and then straight. Whoops. Straight down. Oh, yeah. Man, those are pretty. Now, you got this knuckle. You got this bone that's just hanging out here, right? So you gotta go around that thing. Just a little bit to get you a proper size steak. Boneless. Come in. Come down. Oh, man. Beautiful. So now we're going to go in here. We're going to whittle this frickin' knuckle out again. And you get in here, and it's like working on a knee joint. You got that lube that's in the joint. Very, very slimy. Very, very slimy. But it's just natural lubricant on that joint. There's that one. I'm going to come down, get underneath that stupid, I don't know if we're going to get there this time. I don't think we're going to get there on that one. All right, so we'll just bone this out. But that way you guys can see how to do bone-in ribeye without using a bandsaw. And they're nice and thick and healthy steaks. No, they're not itty-bitty, tiny steaks. They're dinosaur steaks. But without having a three-phase outlet at your house, because you know most bandsaws are 3-phase. They don't run on 220. That's how you do it. Boom. Now we got boneless ribeyes coming up. And I'm gonna trim these up and show you how to get them off, get that fat off of there. This is the chuck eye end, baby. It is the best. Look at that marbling. Woo! Look at that marbling on that. That makes a man happy, you know it? That's pretty. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm gonna trim this one just a little bit off this edge here. Right there. Okay. There's my other end piece. Yes. Take my ribs out. Okay. But that right there is a steak for Vincent. Vincenzo, this is what I'll do is I'll sear it, you know, re-rub it, you sear it, and then you just gotta bake that one until it's done in the center. Woo! Nice. Appreciate you, Scottish. I really do, buddy. I'll never stop appreciating you guys. So we got 4 real nice bone in. So the trim on these, you're just going to take that corner off, all right? Useless. Just like me when I play Fortnite, completely useless. That's bone. Leave that alone. Take a little bit off right here. There we go. And a little bit off right there. A little bit off right here. Get that trimmed down a little bit. Those are pretty. This one here. Take that little triangle down. Whittle that tail down. Now, does anyone have any questions? That's okay, Scottish. It's all right, baby. Every little bit helps. I am not complaining at all. Now, does anybody have any questions? Does anyone have any issues? Something they want to know about? Because I can be a teacher all day, guys. I can do this all day. Break out the grinder and we can do the ground beef on the stream, or I can do that by myself. You guys got to sit around for that. So these boneless, and that's that rib meat. So when you talk about beef short ribs, then that would come off of the plate, which is the chest. Why don't you still do this instead of some eggs? Well, the reason why is because the money. When I was working in the meat industry, I was only making. What was I making? I left the meat industry as a meat manager. When the last job I had, I just cleared $22 an hour, and we're talking about 20 plus years of experience. Okay, I started out cutting meat at like it wasn't even $7. It was like $6 an hour. Yeah, $6 an hour. And that was back in '98. So to go from the first time I was a meat manager, it was $9 an hour because I refused to be salary. So I was the lowest paid meat manager in the company, and I left that company. And then years later, I'm making $22 an hour, but I'm miserable. I'm miserable because I have all these skills. And they don't care about my skills. They want me to do a cookie cutter. This steak looks just like that steak. It looks just like that steak. You can go to any store in the company and get that same exact steak. Bullshit. I didn't learn what I've got as skills in order to do cookie cutter bullshit. I have skills that no one else has. So you come to me and I take care of you and my people. And that's why that's why it used to be that the entire grocery store was built around the meat department. The meat manager was the most powerful person in the whole damn store because the meal centered around protein. And they got away from all that. They got away from all that, and it got to where it was just cookie cutter bullshit. And I wasn't happy. So I got out of it and started working in pharmaceuticals, working my way towards, what was I making back then? It was $22 an hour. Yeah. And I didn't do much of anything. And I was still making good money. And then when I got laid off from that, my buddy who I trained how to cut meat, he shows up with a job. I'll wait for the ad break for the rest of you yahoos. I'll wait for the ad break. Give me 3 minutes. Give me 3 minutes, and then I'll be right back. I'm going to finish bagging these up, and we'll talk about something else. For the rest of you who are watching, the subscriptions went up to 25, so I think we're approaching our maximum. I think at one time we had 30 subscribers, 30 some odd. So the fight to get 50 subscriptions continues. We're doing the best we can. I want to be that guy. I want to get a 50. I can't catch up to BMD fast enough. Can't do it. I will. I'll get him. Be right behind him. Clawing and scraping the whole way. Nose itches. You don't want to wipe your nose with a bloody hand. Woo! Penguin! Penguin, God bless you. VIP! Penguin is the VIP. Don't let anyone ever tell you different. She is the VIP. Scottish was number 1. Thank you, Penguin. God bless you. But I will catch his ass. BMD his days are numbered, dude. Days are numbered. All right. Let me get this loud ass thing over here. Ta-da! Welcome back. For those of you who are not bonded, invested, Skies is always going to be number 1, dude. That's just the way it is. He got to be number 1, but Penguin, boy, she's fighting for it. She's fighting for it. God bless her. She's fighting for it. And that's why I love my fan base. That's why I love my fan base. Everybody loves Vinny, dude. Oh, Topher's number 1. We're gonna fight for number 1 now. That's it. That's what I want. Competition. Competition breeds greatness. It breeds greatness. You can't get better if you never continue to strive for greatness. I love it. makes me a happy man. So as I was saying, the job that I got now, it pays me, what, about 24 something an hour. Yeah. And you get overtime, and you get weekend money, which I'm going to get next weekend. I won't be available next weekend for streaming because I got to be at work. But I'll be here tomorrow. But yeah, I make more money now than I ever have, so I can do things like this, so that I can buy the equipment. I've got these racks. I've got bowls and mixing, all these utensils that I've always ever wanted. The cutting stone, and here's what my stone looks like. Boom, baby. I got the cutting stone, you know. Oh my God. You guys are insane. I love you. You guys are insane. So this is my sharpening stone, and you hit each one of these. You got to hit all three of them. So you start out with the coarse, you go to the fine, and then you move to the actual stone for sharpening. This is smooth as glass, but boy, it puts an edge on. I love this thing. But yeah, that's how you get a good edge going. So yeah, competition continues to put an edge on people, and that is what we need. So when I say I'm competing with BMD, it's simply friendly competition, Jack. I'm not going to sit around and do hot sauce. I'm not going to sit around and stall. I'm going to work. We're working. Let me put this in the kitchen, and then we'll come back and we'll work on some grinds, okay? And it'll be loud, but it's part of the game. Yeah. Let me put this up, and then we'll come back and we'll work on some hamburger. And I'll show you my patty press. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. Okay. Hamburger. Yeah. Hamburger. No. Dancing. Dead dancing, man, you missed the whole thing. You missed the whole thing. We just got done with the cutting of the steaks, baby. We're gonna work on the grinds, and we'll be done. Whoo. Yeah. You got to go back and watch the steaks and learn some things, baby. I'm glad to have you here, dude. Let me find my lighter, for crying out loud. Yes, beef boiga. Absolutely. Everybody loves boiga, and it's leftover trim. We're not going to waste nothing. Everything gets used. There's no loss. Yet there, the fat, you throw it in the soup pan, you boil it, you render it down, you make broth. It's a gorgeous thing. All those bones, all that gets used. The back ribs, you could roast those. You can grill them. I used to grill them all the time because they couldn't give them away. I put them on the top shelf with the family packs, the whole thing, and people would just turn their nose up at it. We put them out there for 99 cents. Beef backer is 99 cents. And people would just turn their nose up at it. So at the end of the day, I grab them, I go home, and I stock my freezer with them. And I got to where I could cook them things, and they'd be so tender. So tender. I was a huge fan. Huge fan. So, that's how I got to be fat. I ate a lot of good shit, you know. So we're gonna take and we're gonna grind down our trim and make some boiga. And I'll show you how to work out consistency, okay? As far as how much fat that you want in your meat. Ugh. Beautiful, baby. So here's our back ribs, right? Look at them things. Woo, Dad. Sorry, that was a little loud. Not really. I'm an ass. Okay. So, we got leftover ribeye here. And all we're going to do is we're going to cut it to where it's narrow enough to go down the gullet of this here particular device. I missed you, Ted. I'm glad you're here, dude. I was just telling these guys how absolutely blessed I am to have the community that we've got. And I am so happy that I am entertaining and educational to all of my people enough that they'll come hang out with me while I'm just stocking my freezer. I love it. These little cuts right here with the little bit of meat and a little bit of fat, those are the best. Those are the best. So you're wanting to get just a little bit of fat in here. And if you got any pieces that just like got some red in it, just cut that red out. Cut that red right out. And I was asking Ted, if anybody's got any questions about, particular cuts of meat, whether it's the sirloin we worked on today, or if it's something else, you have a question about, we'll talk about it. It's what I'm here for. I'm here to teach. I can't get you guys to save yourselves some money if you don't ask questions, But that's what it's all about, is educating the masses, taking the money away from the monopolies, learning my people how to prosper. That's where I'm at, dude. We're just gonna sift through here and find all the red. All the red. And again, none of this is going to go to waste. The dog can have some. Yes, Muggsy. Where's M at? Muggsy is going to get some. He'll have bones. He'll have whatever I skim off the broth. And he's going to eat fat too. He usually does when I have a day where I'm cutting meat. He eats pretty good. And I've been, here's a really funny story, is that the last meat shop I worked for, and this is a sad story really, but it's a funny story. She got on a live interview with the radio, local radio, and she uses my name. And she said, he's got this many years of experience and he's super duper talented, but here lately, I've been real disappointed with our ground beef, and I think it's too fatty. And she basically called me out on public radio. Instead of, having a conversation about it, essentially called me out on public radio. And that's what destroyed my heart for the business. I was done after that. And I'm never going to go back. But yeah. And essentially you have to have fat in hamburger. You can't just have meat.
in the hamburger. You have to have fat. You have to have some flavor. Otherwise, it's just going to be dry steak meat that has no value. And so, yeah, live on the radio singles me out. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm done with this. So that's why I quit cutting meat. I was done. Topher, topher, topher. I'm just whittling out what's left of the red, and then we will grind it and see what it looks like, and then we'll make some patties. Because I got this patty press I didn't get to use at Thanksgiving, but it is. I got paper for it and everything. Patty paper, so you could freeze them. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. All right, one more sift here, and then we're going to start grinding. Any questions? Any questions at all? I'm here for you guys. How many licks does it take to get the center of a Tootsie Pop? I don't know. I am not a candy man. I am a butcher. Okay. Oh, there's a piece. Oh, piece of candy. 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 All right. I think we're good. So then this is going to go over here. Let go. Boop. All right. This is going to go over here. And I'm going to warn you, it's friggin' loud. It's friggin' loud. But we will go through this and see what it looks like. And if we have to get some more red meat, I'll show you where we're going to get it from. Okay? So let's plug in my, plug in my girlfriend over here. No. I'm gonna plug this in over here. Will you get off of me? It is. Oh, that won't. Yeah, it will. We'll plug it right there. $20 says I blow the circuit. You ready? $20 says I blow the circuit. It'll be great. I'm gonna laugh my ass off. I'm gonna do you guys a favor. I'm gonna mute the mic. That way it's not like blowing you guys up, okay? Boop. Come on, mute the mic. Okay. Done being loud. So you saw me there at the end grab some fat and push it through, because what you got to do is you got to clear the grinder head. The grinder will get gristle and things and meat stuck in the pipe, and fat will push everything out the end. That clears out your meat. Now some people in the world, they want to pay extra for some brisket, ground brisket, or ground short rib, and then they want to complain that the damn hamburger's too fatty. But that's where all the flavor is. That's what the marbling's at. So this is definitely some, not 80-20. This is definitely some 73-27. It's a little bit on the fatty side when you talk about content, but if you look at it, look at that. I mean, it's fresh. It's gorgeous. It's going to make some really good product. So, you want to mix it up. I only grind mine once. A lot of people want to do including the meat industry, they grind it twice because it's that really fine mouth feel. I prefer a chunkier, thicker, more coarse ground, in my opinion. That's my personal preference. You guys do you. You grind it twice, you can. But if you get one of these, you want to make sure that you're constantly feeding it, because if you let it sit for too long, the heat and the friction will start to cook your meat. You don't want that to happen. So I'm going to take this here and I'm going to throw it back in the cooler, and we're going to work these patties up. Oh my goodness. If you're not having fun at this point, I don't know how to help you. Because I'm having an absolute damn blast. Ta-da! Vinny the Fat Man's really fat, super fat. Look at the size of that thing. Super fat hamburgers. Boigers! That might be what we have for supper tonight, matter of fact. Boigers. Now, let's say you want to get super creative. You can put pork in this, okay? You can put, grind some bacon, mix it in. Whatever makes you happy, okay? But keep in mind that ground beef is not going to keep. It's not going to keep like it does in the grocery store. It's not full of gas. It's not full of, preservatives. It's fucking ground beef. So it's already gotten warm because it was out and you've been working the table and whatever. It's not going to keep, guys. So you want to eat that like ASAP, or you want to get it froze ASAP. All right. So this is my first time attempting to use this patty press. This ought to be hilarious. Yeah. Woo. Let's see what kind of a boiga this thing makes. Not too bad. Not too bad. I kind of like it. You want to let them rest, okay? You want to let them rest. Now, if you're going to freeze them, if you're going to freeze these, get you a cookie sheet, a baking sheet, whatever you want to call it. Get you a cookie sheet, and you put them on the cookie sheet flat. Nothing, don't let anything be on top of them. And then just stick them in the freezer and let them freeze flat. That way, you could take and stack them, put them all down in like a friggin' bread bag, and just stick them in the freezer, So that way it doesn't get squished, and you keep the shape. Let's do a few more of these. I've been having fun with you guys. I'm absolutely flabbergasted that I got all you guys in here today after hanging out with me last night. Ugh, I got this thing off of Amazon. Look at that. Woo. Now, what can make a difference here is greasing up the surface a little bit. It won't stick to your patty that way. That's just some meat cutting lube, or a meat sharpening lube. It's food grade lube, fellas. Okay. Those are nice big and they're gonna shrink. That's why I bought the great big round diameter. They're gonna shrink. They look impressive as hell, right? They're gonna shrink down. So you just don't want to sell yourself short. I like this thing already. Oh yeah. Boom. Let go. It didn't. Yeah. I like it. It works. Creek could have been involved with the delivery of that Boyga cutter. Boyga cutter. Is it a Boyga cutter? Really? Hey, it does have measurements on the inside. I'll be dipped in shit. But yeah, it's got it in grams. It doesn't have it any other way. Like, who measures shit in grams? Come on, man. Get fucking bent. Okay. Like, it's either a quarter pounder or it's not, you know? Is that what Creek does? Creek works for Amazon? Boyga. No wonder the guy can afford so many freaking gifted subs. He works for Amazon. The guy's got more money than God. All right, here we go. Yeah. Now, let go. Yeah, well, that one didn't work. Yeah, the first few of them worked out real well. So I don't know. That and it's warm. So it's warm, so it's gonna stick. I mean, it is what it is. Nope, that didn't help either. So yeah, when the burger gets warm, you want to work it up when it's cold. You just want to work it up when it's cold, because it'll stick to everything when it's warm like that. So put it back in the fridge. Get it cooled down a little bit, and then I'll try it again in a little bit. I ain't gonna bore you guys with constantly trying this damn thing. I'm gonna use me a metal bowl, and I'm gonna put it in the freezer. I'll put it in the freezer, and then I'll come back to it after a while and get them all paid out. And also, contrary to popular belief, when you freeze these patties, all right? When you freeze these patties, you don't have to throw them out to cook them. Take them right from the freezer straight to the grill. They will thaw and they will cook. And obviously, if you're gonna eat them right away, it's not gonna matter. But yeah, just put them on a cookie sheet and put them in the freezer. You'll be fine. So, all right. That's all of the stuff I had to work with today. Yes. There's nothing else. Nothing else we can do with the beef stream. I got pork in there, but I'm not going to bore you guys with more pork. We'll do a pork stream again later. But for now, this was fantastic. I hope I was able to teach you guys a little something. I hope that everyone learned a little something and that you had a good time while doing it. As always, it is an absolute blessing and an honor for you to spend your time with me. You have a million different things you can do with your day. And you took a little bit of time out of your existence to spend it with me, and I honor that. So from me to you, thank you. And we will come back and we'll do another one of these as soon as I can. I think this whole setup worked out good. I like the camera angle. I don't know how the sound was, other than occasionally being too damn loud. But I hope you guys had a good time as much as I did. Thank you so much. And I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Go have some lunch. I'm going to go cook these damn things up right now. We're going to, ooh, hey, let's put some Boiga seasoning. Boiga! Let's put some Boiga seasoning right here. We'll finish this stream out with a little bit of Boiga seasoning. Yeah, right there. Amazing Boiga seasoning. Finish this stream out the right way. Little bit of love. Looky there. Woo! It wouldn't be a good stream if I didn't spank something, right? There we go. Some Boiga seasoning. I'm going to throw those on the griddle right now. I love it. Thank you guys. It's always fun with you people. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Come back and see me. Bring your friends. Bring your family. Lots of love. Mwah. I put the M in M-O-B, Daddy.